Today we are reading King Midas and the Golden Touch, and I see up here in the corner the genre is drama and myth. So we've talked about both of those already. We've talked about a myth being something from a long time ago. It usually has someone that is like a god or a goddess with some magical or mythical powers, and it usually has a lesson that can be learned in there as well. And our story before, Arachne, it was also a drama, so we've seen that word before too. And I can tell right away that this is going to be a drama because I see a list of characters here. And I know when we have characters, it's going to be a play or a drama. That also affects the way we read it as we think about the scene and what might be happening if it was a play in front of us. Our essential question here got cut off a little bit, but it does say, how do you decide what is important? So if I think about that question, I look at this picture, what do you think this person thinks is important? Well, I'm noticing he's a king and he's wearing fancy clothes and he has this big golden crown on. He's got jewels on his fingers. Not only is he counting money, but he's got stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of money over here. So if you're thinking to yourself what might be important to this guy, we could make a prediction, a guess, that money and gold is probably pretty important. If I look at the title, King Midas, that must be him because he looks like a king to me. King Midas and the Golden Touch. So that kind of confirms part of our prediction there. Golden is in the title, so there must be something to do with this money, golden.
King Midas and the Golden Touch by Margaret H. Lippert. Illustrated by Gail Armstrong. Characters: Storyteller, King Midas. Princess Marigold, King Midas's daughter. Nicholas, King Midas's servant. Rosie, a gardener's daughter. Rex, King Midas's horse. Mysterious traveler. Scene 1. In the palace early morning. Storyteller. The story of King Midas. Scene 1. In the palace early morning. Storyteller. The story of King Midas takes place long ago and far away in the country of Greece. King Midas possessed more gold than anyone in the world. One morning, he is counting his gold in his treasure chamber. King Midas, tying the last bag of gold. So much gold, so much wealth. I love it. Marigold, calling from off stage. Papa, where are you? King Midas, calling. Here, Marigold. Marigold enters.
All right, so to start off the story, we see some things about these characters already. We have confirmed our prediction that he is his gold and his wealth is very important to him because it says how much gold he has, more than anyone in the world. He's in his treasure chamber, so he has a whole room set aside for it. And he actually says, so much wealth, I love it. So one of the things that we're going to be talking about as we read through this story is theme. And you're going to be working with that in a video next as well. So when we're talking about theme, we need to look at what is the message or what we are learning from this story. And so a way to do that is to look at the clues that you see as you read. So right away we can tell something about King Midas and what he values, that his money and his gold is pretty valuable to him. I also notice here the daughter, her name is Marigold. She's got the word gold in her name. So we can tell already, even if we don't know the theme of the story yet, we know this character is very interested in his wealth or his money.
Marigold, counting your gold again. You spend more time with your gold than with me. King Midas, I'm locking it up because I'm leaving on a journey. Marigold, I'll miss you, Papa. King Midas, I'll miss you too, Marigold. Marigold, more than your gold? King Midas, laughing, of course. I have a room full of gold, but only one marigold. He looks out the window. I see your friend Rosie is playing in the garden. Run along now. I'll say goodbye before I leave. Marigold exits. King Midas, calling, Nicholas. Nicholas enters. Nicholas, yes, your majesty. King Midas, saddle my horse. Nicholas, as you wish. Nicholas exits. King Midas puts the bags of gold into the trunk and locks it. He exits.
All right, so we continue to learn more about a character in this section where we see how he is talking with his daughter, and his daughter is saying, "Are you counting your gold again?" So that tells us he does it a lot, right? It says you spend more time with your gold than with me. So we talked about his gold being valuable to him, and she's wondering, is the gold more valuable than her? He says no, but we'll see what happens.
Scene 2. Storyteller. A few minutes later, in the palace rose garden, Rosie is jumping rope. Rosie, chanting in rhythm to her jumping. Roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and I am too. Roses are red, violets are blue, sugar is sweet, and... Marigold runs in, twirling her jump rope. Marigold and Rosie. I am too. They stop jumping, and Marigold stoops down. Rosie, what are you doing? Marigold, hunting for a stone to give Papa. Rosie, picking up a stone. How about this one? Marigold, I want to find one that looks like a heart. Marigold picks up several stones and tosses them down again, then picks up a heart-shaped stone and shows it to Rosie. Marigold, I found one. King Midas enters. Marigold runs to him and gives him the stone. Marigold, here, Papa, a heart, to remind you that I love you. King Midas puts the stone in his pocket. King Midas, thank you, my darling.
Okay, so we've already discovered what the king is like and what he loves. And in this section, we learn a little more about Marigold, what she might like and what she might love. So if we think about the story, how is she spending her time? Jump roping with her friend here. And what kind of gift does she want to give? Can't just be a rock. She said she wants to find one that looks like a heart. So can we make any conclusions about what kind of character Marigold might be? Is she like her father, the king? I'd say probably not. If the king is greedy and all about his gold and his wealth, and she's about her friends and being kind and loving. Okay, so we have two details from the text so far that might help us figure out a theme.
Nicholas enters. Nicholas, Rex is saddled, your majesty. King Midas to Marigold. I must go now. Marigold, is it really necessary? King Midas, yes. He picks a rose and gives it to Marigold. But here is a gift for you. I will return in 7 days before it wilts. Marigold, smelling the rose. I love the smell, almost as much as I love you. King Midas, farewell, my daughter. Marigold, farewell, Papa. King Midas and Nicholas exit. Marigold to Rosie. I'll put this rose in a vase by my bed. Come with me. Marigold and Rosie exit.
So that was something that was kind of a surprising turn because we see King Midas being all about his gold, but then he does something very kind for his daughter to help her remember him and give him give her a promise of when he might return. So that might be something a little bit different about King Midas that we didn't expect to happen.
Scene 3. Storyteller. 1 week later, early in the morning, King Midas rides Rex through a forest. He is returning home from his journey. Traveler moans off stage. King Midas. Hark, someone is hurt. Traveler moans again. King Midas stops and looks around. Am I dreaming? Traveler moans louder. Rex neighs. King Midas, patting Rex. Calm down, Rex. Don't be alarmed. Traveler enters limping and falls to the ground. King Midas. What ails you, Traveler? Traveler. My leg. I fell off my horse. King Midas. You need help. My palace is just over the hill. Traveler. My horse ran away. King Midas. Then ride with me. King Midas and Traveler ride Rex together. Rex neighs. King Midas. Good boy, Rex. We're almost home. They exit.
Okay, we're going to pause our story there. It's about halfway finished, and we will do the rest the next time we come together. But there will be a question for you to answer about King Midas and what kinds of things he values. So think about, there's 3 things so far that we've seen him do in the story. So we've seen something with his gold, we've seen something with his daughter, and now we've seen something with this traveler. So those are the 3 things I want you to be thinking about when you answer your question on the slides.